You made it to chapter 8. Chapter 8 is so crucial, and the title is Declare and Know the Promises of God Over Your Life. Declare and know the promises of God over your life. And if you're somewhat like me, as I mentioned in the book, and distorted, you're kind of thinking like, everyone loves to say that. Everyone loves to focus on that. Everyone loves to understand what are the promises. And everyone wants to, throw that down our throat just a little bit. But how do I start living out these promises? Where do I begin? So if you have reached chapter 8 on this book, I want to let you know, number one, be open as well, always, the same way that you have kept this book, the same way that you've been open to reach all the way to chapter 8. Kudos to you. I urge you and I encourage you to open up your mind and realize, how am I truly now ready to start diving into his great promises? Let me tell you something. The promises of God are vivid. They are effective. They are radiant. They actually are what sustains us. They can really focus us. They can make us see way beyond and further from those things that we can't even see. So if you were able to go ahead and start searching on chapter 8, you're going to see some practical things that I need you to do. Some of them, such as searching. You're going to start searching the promises of God in the Bible. You heard right. You will be doing your own search. You got this. You can do it, woman. You can do it, man. One of the ways that I tell people that they can start reading the Bible, I know it's not always easy. I know it's like, Marlyn, I don't get it. Number one, yes, it's a spiritual book. It's a history book. There's so much more to it. So you have to pray before you read, in case you do not know that. How you pray? For the sake of time, I'm going to tell you, just have a conversation with God exactly how I'm having it with you. So when you are going to start searching in the Bible, those promises of God, I always tell people you're going to have to start reading it. So why not daily start reading Psalms? There's 150 of them, more than enough for almost half a year, right? And how about simultaneously you start reading the Proverbs? The Proverbs, they're like quotes. They're quotes that are going to be so good to get some wisdom into your mind. Remember that we have to renew our minds, okay? On top of that, then you choose if you want to start from the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the Gospels, or if you really want to start from the beginning, from Genesis, Exodus, etc. But you choose whatever is comfortable for you. The good thing about the New Testament is that it allows you to actually be more relatable to Jesus. Jesus was on earth, so you want to read his story. And that is one of the main things, or the main factors that you can relate to when you are reading the New Testament. Okay? So now moving on back to chapter 8. Once you're reading those things, I need you to do one thing, my friends. I need you to notate whenever you see a promise of God in the Bible. I need you to write them down. I wrote them down, and that helped me to fill in my spirit, to fill in my mind correctly. So I urge you to write those promises down. Another thing I need you to do, number 2, as you see in the book, you have to take these promises further. You have to take these promises further. What do I mean with that? I created my own health aid kit. And it sounds silly, but I literally created a box that has all these promises in them, plus some things that I really need to work on. You see, if I noticed that I was being, if I had a problem with, let's say, jealousy, and I personally know that trust issues can bring up jealousy. In my past toxic relationships, you end up having a little bit of jealousy right in there. So you have to make it come to the surface and get it out. So some of those things that I knew I had to work on in the aspect of my life in jealousy, I will write those things out, and I will put promises that were talking to jealousy, where I start understanding that God is the only God that can be jealous about anything. He is a zealous God. Jealousy could belong to him alone. Why? Because we are his, and things that we do not do that don't please him, he is in all the right to say that glory belongs to me, because he's our Father. So therefore, do not forget that jealousy belongs to him. So do your own first aid kit. Some of you guys could go a little bit bigger or smaller. This is one special box that could contain everything, right? And again, buy your own wherever you like. But I want to show you what my first aid kit looked like. And it looked like this. This was the first one. I took a box. I wanted it to signify who I am. Why? I'm not really, if you knew me from my childhood, I was not the one that was girly. I'll leave that to my sister, okay? I was the one that didn't like pink. I still kind of don't, guys. But I didn't want polka dots. And now you're looking at this box and you're like, why it has polka dots? Why? Because I decided that if I'm going to start honing in me, who I'm supposed to be biblically, the femininity in me, I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. So I chose a box that, though it did not represent me per se because I don't like polka dots, I wanted to be something that represent somewhere I want to be, that I want to be more jolly, that I want to be more smiley, that I want to be more colorful. As you guys can see, these are colorful. Okay, I wanted to do something out of the comfort zone. I chose a box that wasn't the same as what I would pick out, right? And then inside, it's full of not just the promises of God, okay? And I wanted to make this first one and just show you not only the promises, but also different things or different items that really signify who I am. For instance, this is a little jar full of mustard seeds, right? So, and just went above and beyond with the promises of God, things I needed to work on and things that would motivate me. Then as time continues and the journey continues, your life kind of gets a little more packed, guys, and we need more work. What can I say? So I got a bigger box and I added this one in it, but now I add even my letters or cards that I get, like for my birthdays or things like that. Just, you know, any sort of things. Prayer request box. I have way more here that really speaks to my spirit. Why do we need this? Because humanly speaking, you and I are going to need days where we just need to be lifted, where we want to feel better. And these are the days that I can open up this box and I could be lifted, humanly speaking, that I could read the promises of God over my life, not only the ones that you read in the Bible, okay? Not only those, but anytime that you get a prophet to speak over you, anytime that you get an encouragement word, even if it's from your leaders, from your mentors, from your pastors, from your friends, why not write them down? When I get a compliment, though I have it in my handy dandy journal because I write a lot, I always write them down. Also in a specific paper, I put it here in this box. Why? Because I know that there's gonna come a moment when that's going to lift me up as well. So I really do encourage you to have your own emergency kit, and I believe that is a great idea just to show you what it looks like. Hence why Distorted and the staff, we just wanted to go ahead and show you a vivid video of chapter 8. Number three, if by now you don't have a journal, as I mentioned before, I encourage you to start journaling in. I understand that everyone journals, but start journaling a way or another. Start just fulfilling your life with writing down everything you need to. Maybe something that, you know, that happened on that day. Maybe you want to do it once a week. It doesn't matter, but do something that works for you. Amen. So remember, when you journal, you're journaling your journey. So why not? And remember, in the same box, same way that sometimes I write some things in that journal, is the same way that I add some of those things in a separate sheet of paper and I put them in the box. Again, it's all about you. Another very important thing to do, again, about the promises of God, right? You have to also have a place where you're going to be studying these promises. It's very easy to say, oh, I got this. Oh, yes, I will go ahead and study. But you know what? I am a very huge fan of interior design, and to each its own. And yes, we don't need to have the most high scale design or place just to study. But I realized something. If you do not do some things intentionally, my friends, you're not going to grow. So I remember not having this desk. I remember that I had a simple little desk, okay? And this is still simple, but it was even simpler. And I did not have this little bookshelf at all. So all my Bibles, I just had at least one or two of them right stacked on top of each other. And I had them here. Why precisely here? Because I understood that you have to see that thing that you needed to be motivated with. You need to see the Bible so that you can say, let me study the Bible. I'm here telling you to go ahead and study the promises. But how can I assure that you're going to open up the Bible? By seeing it. How did someone assure me that I was going to get out of my room, get to the living room, get to my little corner, and actually read? Only if I saw the Bible in front of me. Some of us just keep our Bibles kind of just taking some dust somewhere afar. So have a dedicated place intentionally for your studies, my friends. Amen. And again, if you follow all these steps, I tell you from the bottom of my heart that your life is already going to be a lot more organized, a lot more growth you're going to see. You're going to bear much fruits in these seasons. The promises of God are just forever and eternal. And again, this is just some simple steps that can help you. God bless you.